99% of the world's problems would be solved.
Can you make it louder?
If females walked through life with their body count on their forehead. Because it would prevent all of the disintegration of morals. It would prevent so many things about the world.
But you know what, there's like
and women would be like, to be with me as a man, I don't want to put another number on my forehead, you have to be a good man. They wouldn't stop fucking these idiots and stop being idiots, and all the idiocy would disappear, all the degeneracy would disappear, families would return, virgins meeting their first man, staying with him her whole life and being proud of it. Couldn't we go back to such a beautiful age? All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
That attitude is disgusting.
Okay.
So men are lonely, are touch starved. Women need to start putting their body head on their forehead because they fuck too many men and they're fucking around too much, and we have no more virgins who are pure and don't want to do those things. Which one do you want? Do you want a world full of virgins, or you want a world full of hoes that are fucking you guys?
I mean, he did say women originally, and then he said he made an argument for men basically becoming accountable because they don't want another number added to their forehead. I mean, obviously it would never happen for obvious reasons, but it would create a lot of accountability for everyone. And we see a lot of, like, people don't hold themselves accountable for things a lot nowadays.
For what though? Because we're not saying put on a men's head. Yeah, it's the only thing that being accountable for is the fact that she has to take account for the fact that she's slept with another man. I don't see how that's a society starlight, everything in the world's gonna change. I know it's a joke, but like still to even like try to like sit and try to rationalize that statement is like, I don't even think that should have the energy towards it, because it makes
Here, let's give some other people an opportunity to respond. We're going to go around the table.
Oh, he wanted to hear from you? Right. Okay.
You, and then we'll just go around like this.
I don't really have too much to say on that one.
Come on, you're a little upset by what he said.
No.
Come on.
I mean, it was, look, it's obviously an unrealistic expectation that women are suddenly going to have their body counts on their foreheads. I also think that, yeah, while some women may want to watch it, I think it won't change anything for some other women who will continue doing what they were doing previously. So I don't even really think it's worth thinking about all that deeply, because I think, sure, it might stop some people, but it won't affect others. So
I think some people are open about it and some people aren't, and the reason they're not, I think specifically with people who have a higher body count, I don't know if they are ashamed of themselves or worry more about other people shaming them. So I think it's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. So I don't know if that would be the best approach. Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody's going to put themselves in the position where they do have a high body count, I don't think that it would be an issue if everybody had to know, because men deserve the option. They should deserve the chance to know what a woman's body count is if women have the same opportunity. Like, a man should be able to want somebody who has slept with 0 people just as easily as a woman should be. Like, I don't think there's an issue with that.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with that. Kind of going back to like your comment too. Like, if like a woman wants people to know like how many people that she slept with, she'll go out and tell people. So it's just like, and if a guy wants to know how much a woman has slept with, it just gives women accountability as well as men. So
I think he would definitely hold accountability in the way that, like, I think people do know that sometimes it's morally not unacceptable, but I think people are ashamed of it. And I think, like, if people were to know, they wouldn't want them to know. So I think definitely it would definitely make a difference. I'm not saying, like, I just think, like, oh yeah, if you have a high one, I'm not shaming you in any way, but I think definitely there's some people out there that are ashamed of their high one. But I'm not saying that's everyone, but I'm saying I think morally, or like just in general, like it would definitely, I think, make an effect on how many hookups there would be in today.
Sure.
I just think that's like a personal conversation that like should happen between you and the person like you're looking to have a relationship with. I don't think it needs to be like everyone needs to know. I don't think that's necessary. I just think like you and the other person can have an honest conversation about it, and like that's all there has to be. Like, I don't think it needs to be like some public thing that like everyone knows about. Like,
okay.
I think what I will say is in terms of hookup culture, like if you're sleeping with someone, why does body count necessarily matter if it's just gonna happen like for a night? In terms of like a relationship though, like I feel like there should, like if you're telling the person that you're gonna commit to a relationship with, you should like build a sense of trust. Like if you're lying to them about your body count, like that's a whole other issue that I feel like is just not gonna lead to a good relationship with good standards.
Well, I mean, what I would just answer to your first part there is even for a one night stand, I think a lot of guys, even in that circumstance, even in that context, would probably still prefer to get with a girl who has a low body count, even if it's just for casual sex.
I think they don't care.
Men will care far less if it's just a hookup, like it's less of a priority than for like a relationship or a marriage, but I mean, if given the option, okay, for a one-night stand, assuming both of the women are down, you have a woman who slept with 100 men versus a girl who's a virgin, the guy's probably going to pick the virgin.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. If it's just a hookup, I'm saying the man's going to choose
No,
the one
I'm
with
saying
100.
even for a one-night stand,
Yeah,
even for
and
a
I'm
hookup,
saying-
he's going to pick the virgin.
Maybe you know more because you're a man, but I would say they're going to choose the one with 100 versus a virgin for a hookup because
Nick,
they
what do you
want
think?
someone more
We need to
experienced.
get Nick on this
says
more.
no. You want a virgin?
Oh yeah, bro. That's like
Even for a one-night stand.
Yeah, I guess maybe just the guys I'm around, they would prefer someone with more experience, especially with something like just a hookup. Then they're not trying to get a hookup and then teach her how to hook up. They're trying to get their needs met, and that's it. But for a relationship, that's completely different. I wouldn't say the same for a relationship, obviously.
I feel like a lot of guys use it as like an ego booster though. Like, oh my god, I just took this girl's virginity, or oh my god, I just got with a girl that only has like one body, and then they'll go and like be proud of that and tell their friends about that. And that's why guys usually like going for virgins and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's just psychologically more stimulating.
Okay, so virgin, yes, but okay, maybe 3 bodies versus 100. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see how
even
I can see
the
the virgin
lower the
card.
better.
The virgin card is definitely that's a thing I've heard of before, but that's also more of a high school thing I've heard of. I don't really hear of adult men being like, I took her virginity.
I don't
So
either. I
that's-
think that men like view it more as like, I mean, I'm not going to speak for all men, but I do know a lot of men that get genuinely disgusted when women have incredibly high body counts.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like even she said she's a virgin. She says that some guys be like they don't like it, but
Well,
we know
of
it's they
course,
want to sleep with her.
Well,
yeah,
they
but
don't
it's
like it because they're not going to get quick sex.
I agree. That's probably the majority of the reason why. The
Yeah.
majority of them think that.
So I think given the option between like, okay, if, for the instance of a one night stand, if a girl has a body count of 3 compared to something upwards of 100, they'd pretty much always pick the 3 girl.
I genuinely believe the guy for a hookup should pick the girl with the higher body count because she's more experienced
they maybe,
and
but
could give
are
them
there
a better time. So
disagree,
I don't
but disagree on that. I disagree.
But I don't get the male brain thinking fucking a virgin or a girl with a really low body count is better when, like, with more experience, they have more skill. So the physical pleasure is increased.
Not,
That's
but
why
not
I think the guys
necessarily
who actually
because,
do sleep with virgins don't usually want it anymore.
Disavow.
I feel like it's like a fantasy thing.
Disavow. Let me ask you a question, right?
Okay.
Well, you've never had sex. I don't know. So I guess to the girls who've had sex, do you need to be, maybe you don't need it, but does it elevate the sexual experience if, aside from just the man's technical skills in the bedroom, you're also psychologically stimulated by him in some way? So either he's really physically attractive, you really like his personality.
Yes.
So is there a psychological component to the enjoyment when it comes to sex, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure, but it's not because he's a virgin.
But men,
well,
for guys, that's their psyche.
Men and women view sex differently.
Okay.
That's just what I'm saying, like, for me personally.
And I feel like all this, honestly, doesn't matter regardless because I have never heard of a man who was just going for a one-night stand even ask what their body count is.
Liam Millay donated $100. Why do you guys care if they ask about your body count?
Kiko?
I don't care if they ask. I never said they did.
Okay. But I guess for like kind of responding to you, like, oh, well, wouldn't you want to get with a girl who's had 100 bodies because surely she must be more sexually experienced, ergo the sexual experience is going to be more pleasurable because she's got a certain technique, the Gluck Gluck 9000 or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, I don't think men are, first off, that's a particularly huge preoccupation. Like, a woman's technical skill in the bedroom is dwarfed by, I would say, the psychological stimulation that she might provide, either through being really physically attractive or by having a low body count or by being a virgin, for example.
I'm not saying they prefer the one with the higher body count, but for physical pleasure, like the skill level, they should.
Well, if that's your only, but like, I think for
But you're
both men
talking
and women,
mentally, right?
Well, yeah, I think both men and women are psychologically stimulated.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask, would you rather have the best sex of your life with a guy who you thought was physically unattractive and you didn't really like his personality, or would you rather have average sex with a guy who is really fucking attractive, really hot, good personality, and maybe technically he wasn't as good as this other guy, but the other things he's bringing psychologically, the psychological stimulation actually make the sex better?
The average
I mean, you haven't
sex,
had sex, I don't know if, like.
But I care about personal connection. And also, I'm not anti-sex. I'm just anti-sex with guys who I don't have a established relationship with. So I'm not like saving myself for marriage or any of that. I simply want a meaningful connection, and guys this far or currently are not offering what I require, so it's not happening. But I'm not anti-sex.
Yeah.
I'd have sex if a guy
deserves it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the same thing. Like, what if there was because men will view a woman who has a low body count, isn't promiscuous, or who's a virgin, they might view that as something that would make the sex better. They might be more attracted to a woman who is like that. So
is it almost like a hard to get thing?
God, keep going. No, not really. I mean, I think there's a couple different reasons. One, I'm Nick. I don't know if you can weigh in on this,
There's
but
no connection with someone with 100 bodies, and sex that you're gonna have with that person is not like good connected sex.
Well, I think
we're talking about a hookup.
Well,
though.
yeah, but even in a hookup, but I think the other thing that you could say is that, Nick, would you? And I feel like girls probably to some degree feel this way too. Like, for me, if I was about to hook up with a girl, whether it was just a one-night stand or I wanted to pursue a relationship with her, if I found out that she hooked up with a different guy yesterday, that would be very off-putting to me.
Yeah.
Very off-putting, just because it's kind of, I think it would be kind of gross. Like, did he come inside you? And then I'm by proxy, I'm kind of playing for the other side. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then,
we know your theory on that.
My weird theory about and then the STD concern. And it's like, if a girl tells me it's been 3 years since I last was with a guy, I'm like, that's dope.